Hey everyone. Anyway, it says in the Bible, spank your child and have a good time doing it. No, it doesn't really. This will hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. Not sure about that. I got 6 of the best. My brothers used to tease me. I used to climb up the tree last and they'd sprinkle bark from up the top of the tree in my eyes. I'd get Dad's 22 out of the study and put a hard head in it, safety catch on, and I would usher them out the back of our property out into the bush. We had heaps of state forest. While Mum and Dad were gone shopping, I knew I'd get 6 of the best when they came home, but at least Robbie and James knew that I meant business. Angel created and blesses. Stuff like that. And anyway, children getting married at 18, seeing as they go through puberty at 12 and 14 for females and males retrospectively, they're able to have sex after that, aren't they? But they're not allowed to get married until 18, so they're rooting around, half-ass relationship, whereas a marriage is a rock solid little engagement there. That sets up a few years of STDs, which aren't talked about enough in our community. The do-gooders will say, don't smack your kids. And child marriage is barbaric. Yes, it is very barbaric in the sense of a young woman being forced into marriage with an older person. But seeing as we have free choice in life and the police back the young women up by saying, you don't want to marry him, well, that's very clear, and he's gone ahead and tried to marry you. And well, it just doesn't happen, does it? Child marriage. So linking child marriage to underage legitimate marriages, like what happened in the 60s, and that seemed to work. You see Martha and Edward on the morning show even, they'd been married for 90 years or something. And they got married at 14 in the 60s, I believe. Yeah, so spiritual gifts for off signs and wonders. It's a spiritual gift. So the sign is the person giving the sign, and the wonder is the power of God. So yeah, you can lift your hand like that. Feel that? Anyway, go from the old King James version of the Bible. There's a lot of fat Bibles with a lot of innuendo, asterisks, alternate endings. What is it? X-Men. Stuff like that. I mean, Bibles are just taken way out of context these days. Literally. I'd rather go from the King James version where the these and the thys, and some people say, oh, they're too hard for the new Christian to understand. No, they're not, because the Bible is to be deliberated on from person to person on a personal basis, each according to what the person sees a verse as, and hoping, or by their IQ and maybe thinking and being patient and waiting for an answer as to how to understand a certain verse, rather than having someone's point of view put across with an asterisk and then a massive paragraph down the bottom of the page. He who adds to or takes away from these words, I shall add to him the plagues written in this book, and that's the plagues written in Revelation, which is the last book of the Bible. There's a few plagues there, so looking forward to a few of those people putting out these crappy Bibles, these new ones. Looking forward to seeing them riddled with plagues. It'd be great, good stuff. And what's more is that I'm going bald, but I have a little ponytail here. Yeah. Oh, and I get my Yakuza tattoo from shoulder to shoulder. Big eagle, all power and strength, the Yakuza, eh? So keep in your prayers. What else? And that 150 Ray, 150. Printing booklets. I was thinking about starting a bonsai business. Glossy flyers. Scarborough has got about 17 to 19,000 people living in Scarborough. 1%, that'd be 170. 170 times $90 for a bonsai, but it takes 3 months to set the stems of the bonsai. I'm going to have to source a wholesale nursery to get the younger plants that'll be like 20, 30 centimetres. So you set the stems with wire, put them in a nice pot, sell them for $100, which is easily achievable. Go for the upmarket suburbs. And even if you get 1% success, printing the flyers, doing that kind of stuff, $350 per 5,000. You come out with a profit, but there's not a profit really in life ever without an outlay. So who's going to outlay for a profit? Speaking up for what's right. Smack your kids. I once got chased around the shed 4 or 5 times because I didn't want to smack and Dad was just walking fast. He eventually caught me. It took him 4 or 5 laps of the shed. I got a couple of paddy whacks. He used to use a horse crop, and I think that taught me respect. I think. There is a generation that doesn't give a stuff. A generation, I saw a police officer being beaten by a whole heap of 14-year-old children, and he was cowering down like that, and they were laying into him. Or a party and the police not being given the correct utensils and stuff to use the force necessary to strike fear into these little people that needed a bigger paddy whack from their parents. The do-gooders. The do-gooders don't want kids married after they go through puberty, which is it's only natural, isn't it? Have a baby even. Anyway, that's all. Blessed.